Hello and welcome to Toon Does DVD, and today, continuing Marvel May, we're going to look at The Incredible Hulk. Of all films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this one feels the most disconnected from them all as a whole. And I kind of wonder now how that happened. Is it something to do with the shared rights with Universal? Was there meddling from other studios? Is it just the fact that Edward Norton ended up getting replaced as Bruce Banner by Mark Ruffalo? And the fact that aside from Bruce Banner, very few characters have appeared elsewhere in the MCU. Although I had completely forgotten until I rewatched this that Secretary of State Ross in Civil War got his start here as General Ross. And it seems like lots of other strange decisions have been made regarding this film, like telling the origin story during the opening credits. It's hard for me to think of these things as a member of the general public because I have knowledge from the comics and all sorts of other places that most people, I guess, don't have. So the question is the Hulk's origin story really famous enough to just brush over in the opening credits sequence? Are they expecting that people are still familiar with the Bill Bixby Lou Ferrigno version? I'm really not sure. I'm familiar with the origin story, but I don't know how much the general population is. If you think about famous superhero origin stories, you've got Superman, Batman and Spider-Man, gotta be the top three. And I suppose there could be a case for putting Hulk in number 4, but even so, I'm not entirely sure. And what they do show in the opening title origin is that he's often very abstract, and if you don't already have some knowledge of what that story actually is, you may not even notice what they're referencing. But I guess that possibly they felt the need to differentiate themselves from Ang Lee's version from a few years before. One of my biggest problems with this film, I think, is Bruce Banner wearing a heart rate monitor. Obviously they're trying to have a visual and auditory warning of Bruce possibly turning into the Hulk. But since when has that ever been based on heart rate? Admittedly, I've not read a lot of Hulk comics, but as far as I'm aware, that's always been based on emotional state, which isn't in any way related to heart rate. There's also the villain, I guess, which is not particularly interesting, just a slightly larger version of the Hulk who happens to be orange. Which I guess is the same with Iron Man 1, with the big bad being just a slightly different version of the main hero and a bit beefier and a bit eviler, but at least there's a bit of character and motivation with Jeff Bridges and Iron Man. Here, Tim Roth's character just seems to be interested in more power, being a better soldier, and that's not very interesting. To me, at least. And given how low this usually gets in the ratings, I guess that's true for many other people too. So while it's not a terrible film, there are lots worse that I've seen, it's generally below average. The characters just don't seem to want to make you like them, and there's a lack of chemistry between them. Bruce Banner doesn't really have any arc or growth. He's just trying to find a cure, fails, and beats up an evil Hulk. That's about it. I think that covers pretty much everything I have to say about this film at the moment, so let's take a moment to talk about ratings. I'm not going to try and give all these films a star rating out of 5, out of 10 or anything like that. I'm simply going to compare them to each other. So currently, as there's only one, we have Iron Man in the top spot, and the question is the Hulk better or worse than Iron Man? And the answer is obviously it's worse. So at the moment, Hulk gets the number 2 spot. We'll see how long it stays there when next time I look at Iron Man 2. Thanks for watching, see you then.